Taking off the gloves, I've had enough. It's in my blood. I was born for this.
Welcome everybody. Joseph Robert, the fantasy football counselor, and Tom Santinello. We got a full NFL Week 11 preview. Tom, it is Week 11. Can you believe this?
I can't believe it, Joe. Yeah, I can actually. It's crazy. Man, I mean, most people didn't know if there'd be a season, but we obviously have a season. We had some scares. And let's see if we can make it through the last, 6 weeks or so.
You're right. I keep going back to week 1 when we're like, man, I believe there's going to be a season, but a lot of people are like, yeah, there's not going to be a season, man. Screw this. And then we are week 11 weeks in, just like that, man. So
almost a year.
What's that?
Almost a year, because this happened I think March. They canceled March Madness. I mean, not a year, but it's close, getting close to up there. I mean, college basketball, they canceled the season. There was no champion, and all of a sudden, I don't know. I mean, will next year be okay for football? That's really the question.
Yeah, I mean, there's all this uncertainty going on, and it's going to continue to be uncertain, but you got to stay positive. I mean, I think the worst is over, there's second wave stuff and all this stuff, but I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to ever affect football, knock on wood. You know what I'm saying? I think we're going to be good.
Though it's different. Like when you go, even just watching a game, there's no fans. It's
right. It's weird.
I don't know how long it'll take to get 100% capacity at all. Right. I kind of like social distancing. Some people I don't like to be around, but
yeah. All right. So Thursday, what we're gonna do here, guys. Thursday, we got Arizona and Seattle. We're gonna do a full preview of every game. We're gonna talk about the spreads. We're gonna talk power rankings at the end. We're gonna have a little bit of MVP talk. So if you like football, if you like hearing about power rankings and matchups for this week, and you want to learn a little bit about the matchups and how it's going to match up together, Tom's going to break that down for you as well. I'm going to give it a little bit of fantasy spin, so buckle up, hang on to your seat. It's going to be a good ride here. Make sure you guys smash that thumbs up. And where's my Manscaped trimmer? Tom, did you get your Manscaped trimmer? Are you shaving your balls comfortably now?
I better call FedEx. It hasn't came yet.
Oh yes, it has. Don't kid me. He's very shy about it. Manscaped.com. Use promo code ShowerLion. Get yourself a trimmer, get yourself the ball wipes, get yourself everything they offer. They've got a weed whacker. You can get your nose hairs. Dude, they've got everything. So manscaped.com, use promo code ShowerLion and smash that thumbs up and leave your questions below in your comments. I want to know who you guys think is the MVP below, guys. Leave the comments below. Really, really curious. Okay. So let's go with Arizona, Seattle. We've actually got a good one, Tom. We've got a good one. Arizona, actually, which is weird. They've been playing really well. They're the underdog to Seattle, who's lost a couple games lately, last week to the Rams. So I'm a little concerned about Seattle. Are they the real deal, Tom? What do you think of this matchup?
We have a 3-way tie for the NFC West lead, and the 49ers banged up are at 4-6 at the bottom. Unfortunately, I mean, it could be close to a 4. I mean, they have good teams in that division. Arizona and Seattle, both 6-3, along with the Rams. I mean, this could be for first place. The Cardinals had the Hail Mary. Listen, I give DeAndre Hopkins, that was 95% him on that play. I mean, I know Kyler Murray threw a ball and into that, but that was an unbelievable catch. One of the best catches I've ever seen. Is just went up, strong hands, and took it. It was great. And double, triple coverage, whatever it was just a great catch. It should have never happened, but it was a great catch, and you have to give him credit. But, the Bills came back. I thought they won that game last week, Joe. And Josh Allen, I thought they got another big win. They had a couple in a row. Remember, the momentum was building.
Yeah.
But Seattle dropped the bomb. Russell Wilson, no TDs. He had a fumble and 2 picks, 3 turnovers. I mean, his MVP season is in jeopardy now.
Right.
Hey, Metcalf had 2 for 28, dropping bombs to all your fantasy buddies. I don't know. I just think I was never huge on Arizona. I still don't think they're a first place team going to win the division, but Seattle kind of scares me. We know they don't have a great defense, but their offense couldn't put up more than 16 points. And they held the Rams to 23. I don't, it's a 3-point spread. I don't know who to take in this game. I'm scared of Seattle. They lost 2 in a row. They aren't playing well. I mean, this looks like, remember we said last week, one of those setup games, the Bills and the Cardinals one. This kind of looks like one of those. You figure Seattle's still favored by 3 after dropping 2 in a row.
Yeah, it's a swing game. They're going to swing back up. It's just, it is what it is. They've lost 2. And this is what Vegas does. They kind of feel the rhythm of things. Like, okay, Seattle lost 2. They're due for a win. Arizona won, but they barely won, even though it was the Bills. But are the Bills the real deal? They kind of, I think I don't know what kind of algorithm they use to come up with this, but logically you would think that Arizona should be the favorite. But I think Vegas knows that Seattle is going to bounce back, and I think they're going to win this game. I think I'm all over Seattle in this one. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Seattle lost the first meeting with Arizona, right? That was a couple weeks ago. They just played recently. They played in week 7, and Arizona won that 37-34 in OT. So they know it's a tight game. And I think this comes down to the better quarterback that is Russell Wilson. It's going to be interesting, but I think Seattle pulls it off. But at least we got a thriller. We got a thriller for Thursday night, Tom.
No, it's 3 points. I thought it would be 1 or 2 points, but I mean, at least a point. I don't know. I thought it would be a little different spread, but I guess I'll go Seattle too. I think they're due for a comeback, or is Arizona going to go on a spree? But Arizona doesn't look. They're not a dominant team by any stretch of the imaginations. I mean, who do you have winning that division? I mean, the Rams don't look good either. Like, they don't look spectacular.
No, I mean, I'm still going to go Seahawks. I still think they win. I still think they're the best team. And I think the experience is there. And I think they've had a run with some, it was a tough team. The Rams are not an easy team to beat. So I'm still going with Seattle here.
We'll talk about it later. The Rams play at Tampa Bay on Monday night. And listen, it's a tough division. It's probably the best division in football. Is that what you would think?
You could make an argument. Well,
if San Fran was healthy, definitely.
Yeah, if San Fran was healthy. That's kind of bringing the division down if you look at it like that.
Hey, we've only 9 games through. We got 7 games left for each team, except the Niners. They've played 10, so you never know what can happen.
All right, so let's move on to the matchups again. Power rankings at the end, and then we're also going to talk MVP talk as of right now, 11 weeks in. All right, so Tennessee and Baltimore. This is going to be an interesting one. Baltimore, the favorite here, 6-point favorite. That is. Tennessee Titans haven't looked phenomenal lately. There is some question marks about them losing to the Colts. Again, this is something you were saying. You weren't really sold on them being a great team. They play the Colts. We thought it would be a tight division game. They lost by a huge margin, 34-17 last week in Thursday Night Football on November 12th. I don't know, man. What are your thoughts on this one? I mean, Ravens, are they the real deal? We know that they've kind of declined a little bit from last year. Lamar Jackson not looking like Lamar Jackson from last year, losing to the Patriots last week. This one's a tricky one. I think we're going to determine who the pretender is here.
Yeah, I mean, I told you before, I wasn't sold on Lamar or the Ravens being great. Yes, they are good. And I mean, even you didn't like Lamar being like that top, repeating what he did last year, which is almost impossible.
Yeah.
I watched the entire game against the Patriots. It was a phenomenal game. I mean, that looked like a playoff game. It was an unbelievable game. And I know the rain, but the Patriots beat the Ravens up. They physically dominated them. And Lamar he's a good quarterback, but I don't think he's great yet. I've been saying he's overrated. Tennessee, I tell you, you have your man crush on Tannehill. He's coming back down to earth. I like Tennessee in this game. I'm going Tennessee. I have to, just because, I mean, they kind of disappointed me on Thursday night against the Colts, but I also don't like the Ravens. And I think this is a game Tennessee could come in there and cover the spread and possibly even win.
I agree. I think Tennessee covers the spread, but then you got to deal with Ravens defense. How's Henry going to fare to those guys?
But the Patriots beat them up. The Tennessee has the type of team to beat them up. Remember what happened last year in the playoffs? Tennessee beat the shit out of the Ravens.
Right.
Remember how we said last week? I told you New Orleans was Tampa Bay's kryptonite, but Tampa Bay's a better team. Tampa Bay came out and smoked Carolina.
Right.
But maybe their Tennessee is maybe the kryptonites to the Ravens are those physical teams. They got beat up by a good D and the Steelers, who is a good team. The Chiefs are just the Chiefs, but the Tennessee, they just beat the shit out of them last year in the playoffs. So maybe it's one of those things where Tennessee has their number. That's why I'm going Tennessee, and I'm going money line, actually, Joe. I changed my mind.
Wow, you're going full of Tennessee. And I can see that, man. Maybe Tennessee's got Ravens' number. I think they do. I think they've got their number. So that's going to be an interesting one to watch at 1:00. All right, Detroit and Carolina, man, oh man, this one, Carolina is pretty much toast. Again, they're kind of a scrappy team, but
yeah.
I mean, Bridgewater, I don't know if he's going to be out. I think he's hurt. I don't know if he's playing. I haven't looked at the injury report. Yeah. I don't know if you heard anything, but
McCaffrey's out was the initial word so far.
McCaffrey's still out.
Yeah, I would think so. They said he's out, I think. But either way, it's not going to make a difference. Carolina's Carolina. Remember, some people were high on them early in the year, but I told you this, Joe. They're at least a year or two away. Bridgewater's average at best. That's what he is. I mean, they just got bombed last week. They just got destroyed last week. Really, we called that. Remember?
Yeah.
And I just think Detroit is see, Detroit's not a. I mean, they almost blew the lead again against Washington, right? I think they did blow the lead. Then they came back and kicked the field goal at the end. I mean, they don't have Galladay again. Is he playing this week?
I don't think so, man. It's that hip injury still.
See, they actually really do miss him. Even though he's a great player, I mean, he's just such a good fit on that team and has a good rapport with Stafford. I mean, there's no line yet, right? I don't know if there was an early line on this game.
I don't see a line on it right now. Again, like it's hard to decide who would win this one. It's a bit of one of those.
I like Detroit, but I just think Detroit's a better team. Early line was 1.5 or to 2 points for Carolina favorite at home, but I would take Detroit, even though Detroit's a 500 team. That's what they are. You know, they win a couple, lose a couple. That's what they are. And I think they're a better team than Carolina.
Yeah, I just got some notes here. Teddy Bridgewater to get in some practice today. Christian McCaffrey unlikely to practice. So both those guys keep playmakers on the team on Carolina. Sorry, just banged up. So.
Yeah. Bridgewater's respectable. Maybe some of the lines are waiting on him because if he plays, they have a chance. If he doesn't play, I don't think they have a chance.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's going to be 1-2.
Yeah.
Like, it's on. I don't think I'll be watching it. And again, but I gotta mention something. DeAndre Swift, man, this guy's emerging. So you look at guys like Cam Akers, who is supposed to be a plug and play with the Rams. You look at Jonathan Taylor, who's a beast out of college. You look at Clyde Edwards-Helaire, where the situation looked good in KC, right? And I kind of had my doubts with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I knew that the volume wasn't going to be intense for him. And then you've got, Swift, who I loved. I loved Swift. I was crazy about Swift, but the problem was he was in like a major committee with Kerryon wasn't a big threat, but it was just the fact that they were in a committee, and these guys haven't produced top running backs, but it looks like they are going to Swift a lot more, which is really nice, man. I like to see rookie talent emerge like that.
Remember, I was saying that weeks and weeks ago, like, what are you doing with Adrian Peterson? Like,
right, you said that.
Yeah, like DeAndre Swift. Okay, listen, I'm not there on the field at practice every day, so maybe there's some things that he wasn't doing. But I mean, you need more playmakers on that team.
Right,
and Peterson is just a backup at best. At 50 years old or whatever he is.
Yeah, 55. Yeah,
I mean, DeAndre Swift has the potential. I mean, he's a two-way threat. He had a great game running the ball, 16 for 81. I mean, it's not 150 yards, but that's good. And then he had another 60 plus yards and a touchdown receiving. That's what you need. Peterson can't do that anymore. He may have 20 for 100 in one of those games, but this guy has the potential to be electric.
Exactly.
In Detroit, especially with no number one wide receiver. So that's a good call. Yeah. That's a good. Yeah.
I'm excited about that. Now, speaking of excited about that, I'm not too excited about Cleveland versus the Eagles here. Cleveland, 3.5-point favorite, being at home. We saw what happened last week with Nick Chubb. Now, you talk more reality. I'm more fantasy, but what a dick move. And imagine if you have the spread and I don't know what the spread was for that game.
This came down to the spread because they ended up winning by 3 and they were favored by 4.
So what happened? Hold on. So what was the spread at?
Spread was 4. Cleveland was favored by 4 and they ended up winning by 3.
Oh, so they would have covered this.
A lot of people on that.
They got screwed by not getting that touchdown. They didn't cover the spread if you had picked Cleveland, correct?
Correct.
So screws everybody's spread if you chose Cleveland on that spread. Mm-hmm. Screws a lot of fantasy teams. It's such a dick move. I don't know what it is, man. I think that no matter what, you should finish the play. I understand, but if you don't have confidence in your team, with how many seconds were left in that game, 45
the game, 57 seconds. Listen, the old school, I get what you're saying. Now it's more analytics and all that bullshit. There's a lot of 2-point conversions going earlier than, and they cost these teams. They're playing that, they're overanalyzing things. You would have been up 17-7, 10 points with a minute left. I guess they're thinking, oh, maybe, Houston runs the kickoff back, kicks an onside and does it again. That's what they're thinking. They're just rather waste out the clock.
I don't know. I thought that was a dick move.
You can't say it's not a smart move because they, he just ran out the clock and they won the game. But I mean, they're not going to fumble on a kneel. I guess it's possible, but
I call things like that cheap. Like, for example, let's just say, like, when I understand teams take a knee and they win the game. I wish there was a way to enhance that, like, end of the game experience where you can't take a knee. Play the game out. I understand you won, but play it out. I don't like this. I take a knee. It's cheap. Another thing that I hate, I really hate this. It's like, I don't know. Let me try to explain the play here. So you're on your own, let's say 45-yard line. It's 4th and 1. And then they try to draw a team offside, and then they don't actually snap the ball, and then they basically go and kick the ball. I hate when they do that. You cowards. You cowards. Stop teasing. I know you're trying to draw the defense offside and trying to get a first down.
It works once in a while. Like,
but you cowards, play it out. If you're going 4th and 1 and you're teasing 4th and 1, go 4th and 1, you cowards. That's what I hate. I hate that, Tom. I hate that. I think it's a pussy move. It's a pussy move.
I mean, it doesn't usually work. That usually doesn't work. But once I saw it work once or twice this year. It works like 10% of the. I don't even think it works 10% of the time. I saw it work probably once this year. I didn't watch every snap on 4th and 1, but
Nick Chubb's an asshole, and anybody that does the stuff I described is a coward. Is a coward. Pussy move. All right, let's move on here. I don't want to talk about this game. Let's move on to New England and Houston. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about any team that Nick Chubb is on. I don't want to talk about it.
And Carson Wentz and 16
Screw him too. Screw him.
16 turnovers.
Screw him. Okay, Tom, I'm going to give you $128 million for picking your balls. That's all you do. All you do is pick your balls. And I give you 120. Well, Joe, I'm going to be the master ball picker of the world, of the planet. Joe, I deserve 120. You haven't done that yet. No, you suck. Wentz, overrated.
They overpaid him early. Well, he had that one good season before he got hurt, and he was phenomenal, and I think that's what they paid him on. But with Carson Wentz, he's just doesn't look good. But the team does. I mean, I think they're going to fire Peterson. I've been telling you this earlier in the season. I've been saying if fire Peterson, he hasn't been good. Howie Roseman, they need to fire him too. I mean, he was demoted when Chip Kelly was there in the back, in the back in a corner somewhere. And then all of a sudden he's a hero again. He's had horrible drafting. I think they need to clean house in Philly. I've said this earlier, their talent, they keep getting worse and worse every year since the Super Bowl. I don't know if Jalen Hurts is the answer. I don't know if they got the balls to start Jalen Hurts. I don't love Jalen Hurts. I never thought he was great in college, but maybe he's better in the pros. I mean, do you make a move? At some point, if you're Peterson, you have to make a move if you think Hurts can play, right? Would you stash Jalen Hurts on the bench, give him a shot?
I mean, I'm not sold on Wentz, so yeah. I mean,
I'm not sold on Hurts, but anything's better than Wentz at this point.
Yeah, Wentz is not getting it done, man. You can make but you can make an argument. He has no receivers. That's all I hear about Carson Wentz.
He's just not that good, but I mean, he's average, But I mean, back to the Browns for 1 second. Yeah, I don't care about Chubb, but like the Browns do worry me because they're not scoring points. They scored 16 the week before the bye. I know it was a windy game in against Oakland. Now they only scored 10 points.
Oakland? Who's Oakland?
Oh, the Raiders. Whatever. I mean, the Browns, though, you got to be careful. This is what I was going to bring up before you tried to move on from your buddy. The Browns are 6-3. The Ravens are 6-3. The Ravens lose to the Titans. The Browns should beat the Eagles. They might be in second place in the division. Yeah. I mean, the Browns are sneaky right now.
Browns are sneaky, man. There's a couple sneaky teams.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You have a lot of 6-3 teams right now. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the AFC at 6-3.
And believe it or not, we'll get to them, but Miami is a sneaky team. Can you believe Miami? Like, we'll talk about that, man.
Quality wins. I mean,
their wins. A win's a win.
Well, you're right. A win's a win, but I mean, I don't think they're, whatever. We said that when the Bears were 5-2. Remember, like, hold on, horses. They're not good.
All right, next matchup here. Let's move on. New England and Houston. Do we even need to spend time on this one? I mean, do we really care?
Houston is 2-7, I think. They're 2 wins against Jacksonville. New England, Cam Newton, power football. They beat up the Dolphins first game of the season. They were even beat up they didn't beat up, but they were beating the Chiefs for 3 quarters. They were in it. It was a low scoring game. They were with the Seattle. It was a little more high scoring. They're not a bad team. Okay, but they're not a bad team. You just have to play their style of football, and they can't fall behind by a lot. Yeah. Houston, man, they're terrible on offense. They're terrible on defense. You want to talk overpaid? Look at Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
I mean, he has a better supporting cast than Carson Wentz, and he's doing shit.
Yeah, I agree.
He's got receivers, and they're not great, but he's got Will Fuller, Randall. He's got some better receivers than Carson Wentz. He's making $40+ million a year. Why is no one questioning him on a 2-17?
Yep.
I say he was overpaid for sure.
I agree. He's got some weapons, and he didn't do anything with them. And you can say that the O-line's falling apart and it collapses, blah, 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 and there's a coaching problem.
The O-line's not terrible. Tunsil's playing good. Surprise. I mean, he's playing really good. I get what you're saying, but like Houston is just a major disappointment. Honestly, I wouldn't even know who to take in this game. Obviously, I'm taking Cleveland in the other one, -3. Yeah. But in this game, man, Patriots are favored by 2 on the road.
Yeah.
I could see it going either way because sometimes the Patriots are terrible.
Yeah.
And other times, but they're the type of team that can beat any team or lose to any team.
Sorry to cut out there. Yeah. So who are you going with? Are you going Texans or Patriots?
Patriots, just because the Texans can't win anyone but the Jags. So I'm just going to go Patriots, but I'm not going with confidence.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go the same way. Texans can't be trusted at this point, but you never know. I mean, they're due for a boom game. Who knows? They've got that offense that could do it, but they haven't done it so far. All right, Steelers and Jags. Steelers 10-point favorite. I'm all over the Steelers here. There's no doubt about it. Are they a real 9-0 team? I'd say yeah. I think they're really good. I think they're solid. I think last week was great. The guys that I thought would get fed, Deontay Claypool got fed. I mean, all 3 of those guys, I think, all finished top 10 in fantasy points. When you're looking at Juju, Claypool, and Deontay, all getting fed. The guy that is suffering is Connor, which I kind of stayed away from this season. But yeah, I mean, 10 points. I mean, that shouldn't be hard to do against Jacksonville, but you never know, right? It's football.
Yeah.
Jacksonville's got nothing to lose, right?
Jacksonville was feisty last week. They almost beat Green Bay.
Yeah.
Their new quarterback, he's keeping him in the ball game. Doesn't look spectacular, but he's like Minch, I mean, same, just he's got the guts, he's just putting it in there. I thought Bengals were going to do a little bit better last week, score some more and cover the 10-point spread. It started at 10 and went down to 6. But I mean, remember we said though, like I thought Cincinnati was like that would be more of a trap game. I know they came off one against Dallas, but Burrow, I thought he'd be a little better in the second half, put up some points, at least to make it, a 2-possession game or something like that in that realm. But the Steelers pass rush, like we said, was just way too much. We said that could be a problem. It was way too much for the Bengals offensive line. It was just way too much. Now, going against Jacksonville, I see the same thing. I know Mike Tomlin, he's saying all the right things. This could be a trap game. We don't want to do it. He did say that he's not in love with the running game this year. So maybe he comes in and he tries to run the ball a little bit more this week. But I still like Pittsburgh as well. I mean, how can you not?
Yeah, 10 points is pretty reasonable. Let's move on here. Atlanta and the Saints. 51-point over under. This could be a shootout here, as we've seen in the past with these 2 quarterbacks. Actually, Drew Brees, I think, will be out. So I'm wrong. So I made a mistake there. I was thinking Drew Brees. I think he's going to be out. It's a rib injury. I think he had a punctured lung.
2 to 3 weeks, possible more.
So who is starting? It's not going to be Taysom.
No, I think they're going with Jameis Winston. He's more of the pure quarterback, but Taysom is going to get a lot of snaps. I mean, I don't know what to expect. I don't think Winston is horrible. Winston was, I mean, they weren't horrible last year in Tampa Bay. I know they had a great defense, threw a lot of picks, but he put up points. So I don't know if he's going to be more disciplined. The only problem was, he threw a lot of pick sixes and, are we going to see that Jameis Winston, or is it going to be a little more calmed down? That's what we have to wait and see this week, because like I said, New Orleans, they win a lot of close ones. They win some tough battles. They beat San Fran. I mean, like they should have, but it wasn't like super convincing. It was a game for a lot of it. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the Falcons, I think they're coming off a bye week. They're playing better football since they fired the coach that we were calling for since week 1, really. But since they fired Dan Quinn, and they should have had another W. Remember when Gurley tried to go down, pull a Nick Chubb, but he couldn't do it. He ended up finding the end zone. So the Falcons, I think this could be an upset. I think Atlanta can steal this one. I'm taking Atlanta.
Yeah, man. Atlanta's sneaky coming off a bye week. You never know, right?
Yeah, and they're not listen, they have an offense. Yeah. They have a terrible defense, but they do have an offense, and they just had terrible coaching before. I still don't think it's great, but I think they've improved from when they fired their coach, Yeah,
I think they can cover. They can cover the 5-6 points or whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm taking Atlanta.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Bengals and Washington football team. I don't really want to spend too much time on this. And I know people say, Joe, well, come on, talk about it a little bit. I know they suck, but I'm a Washington fan.
Well, for the Washington fans, hold on. Alex Smith is back. Alex Smith threw for 390. I don't know. He still didn't look super impressive to me because he didn't win the game, but it's a great story. I don't know if you call him comeback player of the year. It was from an injury. Yes, it's a great.
He almost died for the Washington football.
I mean, it's one of the best stories, and he's back. And he looks a little. I mean, he doesn't look the same as before. I don't know what he's got left in the tank. Like I said, I mean, I told you this early in the season that Haskins would get benched and Kyle Allen would come in, but the best quarterback on the team, if he was close to being healthy, was Alex Smith. I don't know how healthy he is as far as, I don't know. I don't know mentally, physically. I don't know all that stuff. But, I mean, he came back last week. Like I said, he threw for 390, threw 55 pass attempts. I mean, I don't think he's great. I think he's serviceable right now. Washington's not a good football team. The Bengals, I think, take this one. I'm taking the Bengals. I like the Bengals. I just think, on the road, getting 2 points. Joe Burrow, I mean, against a bad Washington defense and football team, I just think he lights them up. Yeah,
it's going to be an interesting thing to see Alex Smith come out again and try to improve on what he's kind of done.
Yeah. Burrow was disappointing last week.
I want to see him succeed. I really do. Again, what he overcame, almost dying. But it's kind of interesting because Washington had all that depth at quarterback, and now they're diving into that depth. So hopefully Alex Smith stays safe. I think the Bengals put up a fight here. I see them covering the 2 points. Again, don't use last week as an example. They were playing the Steelers, right? So they lost by a significant margin. I think they bounce back this week and cover that 2 points with ease.
Higgins, huh? You like him?
I love him. He's a guy on my bench. It's weird because I'm in this league and I kind of like future-proof my team because I know, so I've got Jefferson, I've got Claypool, I've got Deontay, I've got T. Higgins. I've got a lot of these young guys out in this one
game, right? Pittman.
I got Pittman as well on that team. Yeah.
Finally had a good game, right?
Finally. It's about time. So my team in one league got slow to start, but it's about seeing that talent before people see it. And that's what I do with fantasy. All right. Miami, the sneaky Miami Dolphins, 3-point favorite here over the Bengals. Sorry, not over the Bengals, over the Broncos.
Locke, I don't know if he's playing this week. I think he was a little hurt, right?
Yes.
Listen, he threw a TD and 4 picks, but I like Drew Lock. I just don't think he has help. And I mean, he just got bombed last week, threw the 4 picks. He had a bad game last week.
Yeah.
And a few weeks before that, he made some comebacks. He won one of them, lost one of them, but I like Drew Lock. I like what he gives on the field. I don't think they have a good supporting cast, a good coaching staff. Really don't think like the offensive coaching staff there, the more I think about it. But Miami, Joe, like, who have they played? I mean, who have they won? I mean, who have they beat? They beat the Rams and they beat the Cardinals. I get that.
Chargers.
Yeah. But I mean, the Chargers stink. They have a couple good wins. I guess you can call the Cardinals an okay win, a good win. The Rams they beat them up. They're making plays on defense and on special teams, and that's what's given. They're coming out and they're getting the big leads. I want to see what happens when they're down 10-0, when they're down 17-3, 17-10 in the fourth quarter. That's what I want to see. I love Tua and his like will to win. He doesn't strike me as a guy that's going to throw for 350. Herbert strikes me as the guy that's going to throw the ball and not win football games. Maybe it's too early to really say stuff like that, but he strikes me as more as like the Phillip Rivers or the Matt Staffords, the Matt Ryans, guys that are going to put up the stats, make $120,000 million, but not win a Super Bowl. Tua looks like the guy that's going to come in and lead you to, the playoffs every other year or every year. He looks like a winner. He makes good throws. He's not going to light up the friggin' scoreboard for 5 touchdowns a lot, right? But he looks like a winner.
Yep.
And that's what I want to see in my quarterback.
Yeah, they're a 3-point favorite. But then again, you look at some of those wins in there, for their record. I think Jets were one of those wins in there. They had some really, really, push over teams. So I don't know, man. We'll see about this game. I think they beat the Broncos.
I mean, I think the Broncos at home, if Drew Lock plays and is completely healthy, I can see an upset coming. I hate to call it an upset because I guess it's an upset. But yeah, I can see if Drew Lock's completely healthy, I see the Broncos stealing this one with the points. If not, I'm going Miami, I guess.
From what I'm hearing, Drew Lock is unlikely to practice today, but could practice later in the week and ultimately play in week 11. That's the news I'm getting. So I think Drew Lock plays, and this is a coin. This is one of those games I would not bet on. It can go either way. I just don't trust. I don't lean either. I don't feel good either way.
I like the Broncos if Lock is healthy. I just think he comes in, he throws a few touchdowns, and I don't know. Keep in mind too has he been on the whole, at home most of the time, right?
Yeah.
I think he played. No, they won at Arizona. Listen, he's been winning, but they've been getting a lot of help from their defense, special teams touchdowns, defensive touchdowns. So if they don't have any of that, can Tua pull off the win? I don't know. I think these are going to be an even game, though.
Football's weird because if Miami beats Arizona and Arizona beats Seattle and the other teams, so technically Miami is better than Seattle and all these other teams and Arizona. They're the best team right now.
Miami lost to Seattle 31-23 in week 4.
Yes, that's weird. So
they
beat
they lost the Patriots 21-11. But hey, we'll see what happens.
I'm going Miami because they're better than Seattle and Arizona.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because they beat Arizona and Arizona beat Seattle. So technically Miami's better than both of those teams.
Why don't you wait till Thursday night?
On paper. All right. New York Jets and the Chargers, another game that, let's not waste too much time here. Los Angeles Chargers are going to win. Are they going to win by 8.5? I don't know. Probably, right?
Here's the thing that concerns me. The Chargers are 2-7, okay? Yes. They have a horrible coaching staff. I said this from the beginning. They beat they have week 1 was against the Jaguars. I'm sorry, against the Bengals with Tyrod Taylor. That came in overtime, right?
Yeah.
Is that Tyrod Taylor?
I can't.
They beat the Jaguars a few weeks back, one of the worst teams in football. They're not a good football team. I don't care how many he throws for 300 every week or almost every week. They're not winning. No. A lot of close games. I think all their losses are 1-possession games, even the 8-pointer at the Dolphins. But I still don't trust the Chargers. I'm taking the Jets with the I can't even take the Jets. I can't take
the Jets. You can't.
Flacco's playing, right? This is a tough game because I don't think the Chargers are that good. But I think they're better than the Jets. It's not a point if they beat them for me. But the Jets played well last week against New England before the bye. It's just, are they going to cover the spread at home against the Jets? I don't know, man. I just think I wouldn't take I don't know.
Conspiracy theory. Do you think the Chargers lose on purpose so they get closer to the Jets record and get first overall pick to get the worst record?
I think the coach is fighting for his job over here in LA, San Diego, LA. I call him San Diego. But I still think the coach is fighting for his job, but I can easily see I think they should clean house after the season, GM everybody. I just don't. This team's not built to win.
No.
And also the coach is terrible. I said that before, but they just these players they have just don't seem to be gelling together. I know they have a decent defense, but it's not playing that well. I just don't like the way the roster's built over here. I think they need a refresh and someone to come in and really coach up Herbert because you don't want to turn him into Matt Stafford and never be a winner. And that's the way, to me, is what it looks now, even though it's too early to say that. He could come in. He did win the Pac-12. Like we said, Tua, he won at Alabama. He's a winner. Herbert did win the Pac-12, I believe, last year, and I think he can do it, but he's kind of scary because you see him, which direction is this going to go in with him?
Yeah. So we got some entertaining matchups coming up here, including Green Bay and Indianapolis here. Indianapolis 2-point favorite here. What are your thoughts on this one? Aaron Rodgers and Phillip Rivers, the two veterans going at it. I don't know, man. I think defense of the Colts keep it tight. That's why they're a 2.5 favorite here.
Yeah.
I think Lazard is coming back. I think it's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be good. I think this is going to be a good one.
See, Green Bay usually loses to the more physical teams and gets beat up into a lot of teams that are better than them. Like as far as they're going to lose to the, I forgot who they lost to. I think it's Seahawks and somebody else. But I'm taking Indy. I went against them last week on Thursday Night Football. Mistake on my part. I just don't trust Phillip Rivers to, sling the ball, throw a lot of touchdowns. But I do think Indianapolis, if they can get the running game going, they're going to dominate, and they think they could win this game by double digits too. I really do. I just think they can beat up Green Bay because I don't think Green Bay's good. I don't think they have a good D line. I think Indy just needs to run the ball, control the game, and I think they can win this game by a touchdown to 2. I think
it's a weird year. I don't know who to trust this year. And again, those 6-3 teams, and it's just so weird. Like 6-4, whatever their records are. It's like, how do you trust these guys?
Well, it scares me in Indy, like we say. I mean, Pittman stepped up last week, right?
Yes.
Like they need someone on offense. They need a receiver to step up, and they need a playmaker. It's just they need to put points on the board to help Phillip Rivers because you cannot rely on Phillip Rivers throwing for 4 touchdowns. You won't win. But I think Indianapolis physically dominate. I think their defense can shut down Aaron Rodgers. I really do.
I think that's the only chance there, man. They got to shut down Aaron Rodgers, make him lose his momentum, which when he loses momentum, we see what happens. He becomes a frail.
He loses against these kind of teams like San Fran in the playoffs last year. Killer D-line, killer defense, and they just beat the shit out of them. And then also they ran the ball down their throats. So I'm taking Indy in this one.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. Again, Packers, they're just a very inconsistent team. I've learned not to bet with Aaron Rodgers. I just don't bet on the guy. I don't know which Aaron Rodgers is going to show up. I don't trust him. It's like he's very lopsided. One game, good game, one game, bad game. I can't trust him. So maybe Indy, but Indy's kind of weird too. All right, Dallas and Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota's going to win this game. They're 7.5 point favorite. Cowboys, I mean, they're kind of done, man. I mean, what's left of those guys?
Who's starting this week?
I don't know. I see Garrett Gilbert. I don't know.
I mean, you have to go with him. I mean, before the bye, he put up a fight against Pittsburgh, so you have to go with him, right? Is Dalton healthy? I
don't think so. It's gonna.
Vikings won 3 in a row. They were 1-5. They're 4-5. They're about to they beat the Bears, who were 5-5. I think the Bears were on a bye, right? They're about to overtake the Bears, with another win or two. Dalvin Cook, put up another decent game against one of the best defenses in the NFL. Kirk Cousins came through. See, when Dalvin Cook, he was spectacular, 30 for 96, but they controlled the ball. Close game. Bears can't score. Again, they don't put up 20-point. Remember, I said they can't score.
Yeah.
I said take the under. I'm taking Vikings. I think this is a game that they can come in and just, this is a game Dalvin Cook could have 200 yards rushing.
You think so? Maybe. They got to stop them. And they're useless, Dallas?
Is Dallas going to play? I mean, they do have some weapons. They have some receivers. They got Ezekiel Elliott. They don't have a great line right now, banged up. So, I mean, if Kirk Cousins throws a few picks and Dallas can jump out with some big plays, that's their only chance.
Yeah, it's a very tough chance here. All right, this is a good one. We got a good one here. Chiefs versus the Raiders, man. I think the Raiders can upset here. Did they not beat them earlier this season? The Raiders beat them.
Beat them by 2 touchdowns, right?
Yeah, so it's going to be a redemption game, obviously, for Pat Mahomes. They're going to win. The Chiefs are going to win this one.
In Vegas.
It's in Vegas, yeah. But
I get it. I mean, maybe they have their number, but I think, for the Raiders to win this game, they're going to have to get some. They're going to have to, I think last time Ruggs had a couple catches for over 100 yards. They need some big plays. They didn't have any big plays last week, but Jacobs was back.
Yeah, Jacobs is starting to play well.
I don't know if they can rely on Jacobs in order and I don't think you want to do that and keep the game close. You need to run Jacobs, but they're going to have to take chances downfield. They're going to have to take big plays because that's how you beat the Chiefs if you're the Raiders. And that's kind of what he did, drafting Ruggs, and he brought in Aguilar. Guys do have some speed that can make big plays. They might only get 2-3 catches a game, but those 2-3 catches can't be for 30 yards. They have to be for 130 yards. Or they have to be 1 for 57 and a touchdown. He needs those guys to turn those plays into big plays when they touch the ball, and Jacob to control the game. So you can't just keep this a close game because you will not win. You need to get some big plays in there. You just have to. And I'm taking the Chiefs to win this game. You're right. I'm calling redemption, but Raiders are a good football team this year. I told you they'll be in the playoffs. I said that earlier in the season, but they're not elite.
Well, week 5, Raiders won, and they beat the Chiefs 40-32. Just to go recap this, I'm looking at the stats here, and Derek Carr, 347 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, interception. But Jacobs got involved. He had, I believe, 2 touchdowns that game. When Jacobs gets involved, he had 23 rushes. They start winning. They got to pound that ball. Ruggs had a good defense game. Aguilar got involved. Ruggs, Waller, all of them a touchdown apiece. You got to get that offense involved. That's how you're going to beat the Chiefs. You got to use everything you got.
Yeah, but if you look at it, Joe, Jacobs, he had a touchdown, 11-yard run, 5-yard run. But I mean, I'm looking at the wrong game.
Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns.
No, you said it was week. I will show you. Week. They won 40-32.
Yes,
but if you go look at the score, I mean, they put up 40 points, but You're looking at Nelson Aguilar, 59-yard touchdown. Henry Ruggs, 72-yard touchdown.
Right. Big
I
play.
mean, big plays, and Jacobs had a 7 and a 2. I mean, you got big plays over there. So that's what you're going to have to do. And that's why they got those guys to do that. Gruden loves to spread the ball around. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be an entertaining one. You know, sometimes when there's not an entertaining one on Sunday night, I'm just like, yeah, I don't feel like watching this. This one I'm actually going to be watching. All right, Rams and Bucks. Another one I will be watching. Bucks 3-point favorite here. I don't know, man. I'm not really sold on the Rams being like this phenomenal team.
No.
You know, I'm just not. I don't think they've got what it takes.
No, I don't think they have what it takes either. I mean, they got beat up by Miami a few weeks ago. That kind of showed me like that they were a bunch of pussies at that point,
Yeah.
but they do have a decent defense. Their defense kept them in that game. Their defense will keep you in some games. Their defense shut down Seattle to 16 points last week, but they don't put up a lot of points, Joe. I mean, even against the Bears, remember that game?
Yeah.
I mean, they won 24-10. The Bears do have a good defense, but that's not a big win. You know, I mean, it's a good win, but they lost to the Dolphins 28-17. They beat the Seahawks 23-16, lost to the Niners 24-16. I think that was Sunday or Monday night game. But they're not, you know, the Giants 17-9, Washington stinks, who cares? The Bills they lost to, they came back on. They're looking like an 8-8 team, 9-7 team, more than the 6-3 team to me. So I'm taking Tampa Bay. I told you Tampa Bay steamroll Carolina last week. I was right. Let's see. They're gonna. I mean, how much can they beat LA by? That's the question.
Yeah, they'll win. They'll win. I'm not doubting this at all. I feel good. I'm leaning towards Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well. Just too many offensive weapons for them. I think they're finally in their groove now. You know, it's a different offense. You had all these new weapons added on, and there's an adjusting period, and your running back situation, Antonio Brown being out, all of these question marks.
And they have a good defense. Don't forget that. They just got pushed around by the Saints, but they have a good defense in Tampa.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. They had a hiccup of a matchup. Let's not hold them to that 38-3 loss for the rest of their career, for the rest of the season anyway. So I think they're going to be okay. I think they're going to come back. They're going to win this game, man, easily.
Yeah, everybody has bad games, bad weeks.
Yeah, I think that spread should be higher. But again, the Rams record is kind of holding them in there, right?
Yep.
All right, so power rankings. Let's do this. Let me take a look at the standings here. I'm going to pull it up here, take a look at the overall. Pittsburgh 9-0, Chiefs 8-1, Green Bay 7-2, Saints 7-2, Bills 7-3, Bucks 7-3, Arizona 6-3, and it goes down, down, down. So power rankings. I mean, are we both in agreement that Pittsburgh is the best team right now?
You know, Pittsburgh Chiefs, I still think it's a toss-up, but I go back and forth every week. I'm just going to go with Pittsburgh because they are 9-0. I mean, at this point, 9 wins, 0 losses. I mean, yeah, they play the Ravens on Thanksgiving, and maybe we'll have some more clarity after that. But they're a good football team, the best in the NFL. I think their defense, if they can get to Mahomes and give him fits, it'll be a good game. But I think between the Chiefs, Pittsburgh, and I mean, I still love Tampa, but I'm going Steelers 1.
Well, you got to look at how it weighs out. So offense, you can make an argument the Chiefs have a better offense, but you give them the edge. Defense, you got to give it to the Steelers. I think there's a bigger advantage. I think the defense is a lot better than the Chiefs. I mean, the Steelers defense is better than the Chiefs, far greater than the offenses of the Chiefs is better than the Steelers. So when you weigh it out, Steelers get the edge, and I think the defense outweighs it and gives them the edge here. And I think the veteran experience of Big Ben, the offensive weapons, including Claypool, Deontay, all these guys they've got in line right now, I would not sleep on these guys. Coaching staff, I like them all. I mean, they both got.
But see, this tells you, I'm not going to cut to the MVP talk now, but look at Ben Roethlisberger. Remember last year without him? He needs MVP consideration because without him, they were horrible.
Yeah.
With him, they're 9-0.
Right.
I mean, look how valuable he is to that team. Keep that in the back of your mind for.
Yeah, he's not flashy though. He just doesn't. He's not that young. When you look at Russell Wilson, young, flashy, still dynamic. He's not that young. He's not like Pat Mahomes young.
Valuable. I mean, yeah, it's a hard conversation to have. But last year with Hodges and Mason Rudolph, I mean, he has to be up there in the MVP. Nobody's talking about him. They want the flash, like you said, the Aaron Rodgers, the Mahomes, the Wilson, the Bradys.
Yeah, they want see, Big Ben's good. I'm just not a fan of Big Ben. He is great. It's just he's kind of always under the radar.
Last year to this year.
Yeah, huge difference.
Yeah, and their defense was great last year. I mean, they're 9-0, and it's because of him. Like that, they're the improvement. It's not. I mean, I know they got Claypool and stuff like that, but he needs to be in the discussion at this point. He needs to be. Anyways, who's next on the power rankings?
So I'm gonna go Steelers, and I gotta go Chiefs number 2. But so I think we're both in agreement to that.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so number 3. This is where it gets tricky. I think I'm gonna go Buccaneers because you're looking at the 7 teams with 7 wins. I think talent wise, the Buccaneers are the best team here.
I'm go Buccaneers as well. The problem you have now is you have like 6 more teams for this last two spots, right? I mean, even with Tampa, you got to put Tampa at number 3. I mean, honestly, you have the Seahawks, the Cardinals. I would never put them in, but you have the Seahawks, the Cardinals, the Saints. They have no Drew Brees. I'm not going to put the Saints in there. I mean, the Seattle lost 2 in a row. Can you put them over the Packers? Who they beat the shit out of the Packers, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think if the Raiders win, they're 6-3. They'll slide up my rankings.
If they beat the Chiefs again, you have to put the Raiders up in the top 5. You do.
Have
I mean, the Ravens, no, I'm not putting them in the top 5 because I don't think they are. Tennessee, they blew it. They blew their load last Thursday night.
I think Seattle's going to slide up. Seattle's going to slide up here. Miami, I'm not really. What's that?
Buffalo, I still like, but they really fucked me and themselves by losing to the Cardinals because they would be at least number 5, right?
Yeah. So part of me still thinks they're a bit of a pretender. They got no run game, right?
No, they don't have a run game. The Ravens, that's another problem with them. They don't have a run game either. They're playing Mark Ingram, who's like
100 years old.
Adrian Peterson, but he's always banged up. I mean, you got Mark Ingram, Gus Edwards, and J.K. Dobbins. Go like Detroit did. Just pick a fucking running back and play him.
Exactly.
It's just you're ruining it with these three-headed committee. That's retarded, and it's hurting you.
Yeah, it's
hurting you. You know,
they got to stop with this.
They do. Like, I was talking to some people out there. They love Gus Edwards. I was like, why is it they just go with like Ingram and Dobbins, like 15 carries for 1 and 10 for the other? Like, they like Gus Edwards a lot there.
Yeah.
They want to get rid of him. They like him as a player and they want him to be part of that offense.
They're just indecisive. They can't make up their mind. I hate this committee shit.
I don't think Mark Ingram is good. Good. I think they got him for the locker room in there. He's a good leader. The players look up to him. But I mean, it's not like he's getting a shitload of carries. But I just think he takes away from the other guys. You know what I mean? I mean, their leading rushers, Lamar Jackson, at 524 yards.
Okay, so who's number? Let's get to this. So we got Steelers, Chiefs, Bucks. Number 4. Is it going to be Packers right now? Has to be if Aaron Rodgers plays.
Well, he's playing.
No, like plays well, stays in the game and focuses and doesn't crap the bed.
Is it New Orleans or the Packers?
I don't know, man. I'm going to go Packers because I think the Saints lose this week. The Packers have a better chance to win this week. So I think the Packers are at number 4 for me. And then it's between, and I think the Raiders, it's going to be Bills right now, but I think it's going to be the Raiders at 5 if they win this week.
Yeah, you have the Colts too.
I can't trust Rivers. I don't think he's going to get it done, man. I don't think so.
I mean, Packers are 7-2. I understand your train of thought on that one. I'm going to go Saints. Well, yeah, but I'm going to go Saints at 7-2 just because I know they don't have Drew Brees, and I probably shouldn't say it when he's out, and I think he's going to be out longer than the 2 to 3 weeks, maybe. I mean, that seems kind of bad injury, but the Saints right now, after that week, you have to put them there, and then I'll go Packers.
Okay. Yeah, I think the Saints are going to lose a couple games now without Brees. So,
and
then I think Seattle's going to win a few games and bounce back in here. There's so many 6-3 teams. It's insane. It's just like,
oh my God,
like any one of these guys can emerge. Cleveland, I'm not sold on. Tennessee can come back and emerge. Miami could maybe do something. The Rams, who knows? Colts, Raiders, Cardinals, Ravens, like who knows?
You could easily see, I'm not saying it's going to happen, the Ravens not making the playoffs. I mean, look how many, like you said, 6-3 teams there are.
I know.
You can see some of these teams aren't going to make the, I mean, they're, imagine if they had 6, they have 7 teams in the playoffs now.
Yeah.
So you got the Bills, you got the Steelers. I mean, the Bills should, I mean, I don't know, the Bills going to win that division or can Miami overtake them now? Now that has to be a topic for discussion coming up. The Bills were on their way to 8-2 until the Hail Mary.
Yeah.
the Dolphins all of a sudden are 6-3. Can they win the division? I mean, it has to be talked about. It does. If the Raiders win, they're going to be 7-3. The Chiefs are going to be 8-2. Then they're a game off. And in a tie, that goes to the Raiders. I don't think that's going to happen, but Indy and Tennessee, both 6-3 at the top.
If you looked at these rankings, let's say 5-6 years ago, whatever, like some of the teams that are up here, like the Buccaneers, the Cardinals, maybe the Cardinals, they had a run there a couple of years ago, but the Bills coming back here, emerging. There's a lot of teams here that's like, oh my God, I can't believe, like even the Chiefs a couple of years ago before Mahomes days, were as good as they are. If you look at this, and then you see teams like Dallas that's lower, the Giants are like, nobody cares about them. The Falcons, Patriots, whoever thought the Bills, like if you had looked at this, the Bills beating the Patriots, like top of that division, it's crazy. I mean, you think that something's wrong. Like why are the Patriots so low? Like it's kind of a weird year. Yeah, man, I guess we'll go with what we got. Steelers, Chiefs, who did I say? Buccaneers, and did I say Packers? And then either the Raiders, and then I'm torn, man. Like I don't know.
Good. I mean,
Seahawks.
Yeah,
Seahawks. I still like the Seahawks. I think that they're going to do things. I think
their defense wasn't terrible last week. I didn't think they played great defense, but they didn't let up a shitload of points. But they need a comeback this week. Otherwise, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
They're 6-4. Then Arizona is 7-3, and Arizona wins the tiebreaker. They if that comes down to it. So, in these tiebreakers, remember, there's only one team that gets a bye right now in the playoffs. One team gets a bye. And in the AFC, it's looking like it's going to come down to the Steelers and the Chiefs, it looks like, but you don't know. But in the NFC, that's more wide open. You got the Packers, you got the Saints. Packers, if they can get home field advantage coming to Lambeau Field, that's big. The Saints in the Dome, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay doesn't have the tiebreaker against the Saints. So you're hoping now that the Saints Jameis Winston comes in and throws 10 pick sixes a game and you can overtake them, right? So I don't think the NFC West teams can really win home field because they're going to beat each other up, right? Wouldn't you think so? Wouldn't you think so?
The disaster. I agree. And look at the NFC East, man. What a division. 3-5. 3-5 is winning the division. 3-5-1.
I told you though, a few weeks, Giants are playing the best football in that division. Keep riding the wave. Daniel Jones looks like Jay Cutler to me. And Washington is still, a game out of the win column, 2 out of the loss column. Washington, anybody can win this division.
Minnesota is going to overtake the Bears now.
Look at that division for a second. The Bears are 5-5 and they're on their way down, right?
Yeah.
Detroit's 4-5, but Minnesota's playing good football.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, you got, like you said, you have 7 teams in the playoffs. You may have 3 teams from the NFC West, the Saints, the Bucks, that's 5, then the Packers and the NFC East. But maybe the Vikings can sneak in over you're going to see one of the NFC. You may see one of the NFC West teams collapse a little bit, and that's the Vikings' best chance to get in the playoffs, right?
Okay, let's wrap up this talk here, but I want to say one thing. Seattle's going to win the NFC West. That's my prediction right now. The NFC South, Saints are going to go down without Breeze. They're going to decline. Bucks are going to easily take that one. I don't see, Carolina. Yeah, Bucks are going to take the NFC South. NFC North, Packers. As long as they keep winning, they can't afford to lose because Minnesota could creep up on them. And I think you said, you made a good point about the Giants. That's it.
I think, you have to go with the Giants now. They're playing the best football, but that could change anytime because that division stinks. All right, MVP?
All right, wrap this up. MVP here. Man, oh man. I'm still riding with my guy. I like him. I'm going Russell Wilson still. I'm not losing hope in Russell Wilson winning the MVP this year.
Who do you got below him? Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen. Josh Allen's playing phenomenal.
Allen's consideration, but he's got to maintain this. He's got to go strong. He's just not a flashy guy. He's flashy. He's doing good. Numbers are good, but I still don't think he's got the flash of a Mahomes or Russell Wilson. And I think the team of him, it's a bad stigma. Buffalo Bills, it just doesn't, it's not one of those teams that I'm excited about the Buffalo Bills quarterback. It's just, I think popularity contest is just not as popular as Russell Wilson.
If they were 8-2 and then they went out and say they finished 13-3, I think you can give it to him. But it really depends how Russell Wilson finishes. He didn't play well last week. The week before he turned the ball over, he didn't have a touchdown last week. The week before he turned the ball over against Buffalo. Man, I don't know if I can give. I mean, I'm going Mahomes right now just because he's the real deal. And Russell Wilson threw 2 duds at me.
Okay, well, he's got to come back. But he's going to come back strong, and that's what's going to
What
make
about Brady?
it.
You don't like. I mean, I don't know. Listen, this is right now. If the season finishes today, you got Patrick Mahomes at 8-1, and I got to give it to him. I'm going the easy way out.
All right, I'm going with the dark horse. I'm going with the kind of. I don't want to say he's an underdog, but he's kind of like the guy. It's like he's a little bit down now. He's but he's going to come out of it, and that's what's going to make the story even better. You think he's out, but here he comes. He's coming back. I'm riding with my guy Russell Wilson. I love the guy.
I understand.
All right, Tommy, that's it. NFL Week 11 preview predictions. We've got it here for you. Subscribe, smash thumbs up, and get your Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer, manscaped.com. Remember, use the promo code ShowerLion. Tom Santinello, thank you, man. That was a good one. We'll talk soon.
See you next week.
Tom's got to get to his text messaging. We're out. Talk soon.